Hey yo, this is Dash, and this video is going to come off completely different from any other content I've ever produced before. But in my normal how to do something, I think that's what I'm starting to get into, the how to do different things, or how I do different things. So with that being said, if you've read the title, this is about cold brew. Okay, so a few weeks ago I was trying to get some information about how to make cold brew, and of course, as a YouTuber, what do you do? I looked on YouTube and I couldn't find anything. Well, I did a general search and I couldn't find a good video for me. So what I decided was I read up how to do it, and I wanted to show you how I make my cold brew. So stick along. I'm gonna put you on a tripod and then we'll do some explanation, and hopefully this works out and you can have cold brew at home as well. Alright, so obviously you're going to need a few different things to make this cold brew happen. A vessel to put the the ground coffee beans and let it brew. When it's finished brewing, you will need a French press or something similar to filter the coffee, brewed coffee from the beans, the grounds, to make sure you don't get any grounds in your cup. You're going to need a coffee grinder, alright, and this one is pretty basic. In case you wanted the brand or anything, it is a Mr. Coffee. It doesn't have a brand. Oh wait, here's a model number. It says model ID S77, so India Delta Sierra 77. I got this off of Amazon. It was less than 20 bucks, and you're gonna need some whole coffee beans. Now, unfortunately, I don't have the bag with the brand of these beans, but again, I purchased them off of Amazon just because the day that I wanted to start this whole experiment, I was working from home, couldn't leave the house, and I figured how else to get coffee delivered or coffee at home but through Amazon. The good thing is I live in Baltimore and there's a distribution center pretty much across town, and I was able to get my coffee in less than an hour. Alright, so other things I've seen have said to use a coffee to water ratio of 4 to 1. I don't need my coffee as concentrated, okay, because I'm not putting in any out of the water. I'm not making more or less like an Americano type of anything. So what I did was a 1 cup of coffee. Now this is 1 cup of whole beans to 6 cups. It's about five and a half, between 5.5 and 6 cups of water. That ratio is perfect for me. Now I'll tell you, this particular coffee grinder has a couple automatic settings. So I will put this up to the 12 cup setting and then down the course, and it has a removable basket, or I guess mixing chamber, and the whole thing is, this fill is about a cup, okay, a cup of beans. So I've measured it out enough times to know that honestly I can just fill it up to the max line. And you see we're good there. Close my coffee back up nice and tight. Reassemble. Now the good thing about this coffee grinder is it's automatic. I set it to the 12 cup setting, course. And we're good. Now at this point, with that out the way, I want to get my grounds ready to be poured into my pitcher. You want to get all that coffee out of there. And at this point, the next step is to fill it with water. Now when I fill it with water, I try and agitate the beans. And I fill it up to this little, ring. Like I said, that ring is about 6 cups. It's just under 6 cups. And the next thing I'll do is I will agitate the beans. I just stir it up to the point where I know everything is hydrated, basically, because that's what we're trying to do. Alright, so I give it one good stir as soon as I pour the water into the beans. And then what I'll do is put the lid on here. Now you see the beans rise right back to the top. Stir it one more good time. I'll leave the spoon in there. I'll put the lid of the pitcher on. And then I'll let this sit out all day. So typically what I do is I make this before I leave for work in the morning. So I leave for work, I leave my house at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm home about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, depending on what activities I have going on with my children. And I'll leave this sitting out on the counter, and then when I come home, I will agitate it again. I'll stir it again, and before I go to bed, I will take the spoon out. I'll agitate it one more time, take the spoon out, cover it, put it in the refrigerator. What then happens is overnight, the beans settle down to the bottom. Now, what I used to do is I would agitate it one more time before I poured it into the French press, but I found I didn't need to do that. Basically, the majority of the work has been done for you if you let the beans settle to the bottom of the pitcher. So you're not filtering as much gunk out of the cold brew coffee, and it makes it a lot easier to just, you know, drink it on the run. Now you saw the French press. You see the French press. I use the French press still because you'll find that there will be little bits of the lighter materials from the coffee beans that will still float to the top even after it is even after the coffee is settled, and you still want to get those out so you're not eating your coffee. But hopefully that helps. And now I will show you what happens after I take it out of the refrigerator, or you know, after it's been sitting overnight. So through the magic of television and, you know, just thinking ahead, what I'm gonna do now is actually show you how I prepare my coffee, and this is how you get your cold brewed coffee into a glass for consumption. So first and foremost, I used to agitate it one more time and then pour it into a French press, but what I found, and I'll still use the French press because there's some just a little bit of the coffee beans, like the outer shell, will still float. So what I typically do is pour, and unfortunately you can't see, but the majority of the beans have settled down to the bottom of the pitcher. And with that being said, oh, little mess. Alright, so with that being said, there's not much that needs to be filtered, but the French press will just make sure. And then I will pour over ice. Add a little cream. And by a little, I mean a lot, because I like extra cream. And then I'll agitate this. And perfect. So at this point, after going ahead and putting the cream in there, you could use a sweetener. The sweetener is up to you. honestly, I would recommend a simple sugar, something that will dissolve in the cold liquid, and or like me, unfortunately, I'm a diabetic and I can't have the sugar, so I'll use a sugar-free creamer that's already sweetened enough to the point where I don't need to add anything else. Alright, so and there you have it. Hopefully this was instructional. Like I said before, when I was looking to find some information about how to brew, how to do a cold brew, I couldn't find anything that I liked or appreciated. So hopefully you enjoy your cold brew. Something about cold brew.